The announcement came without warning, and perhaps that is why a heated and emotional debate ensued afterwards, the removal of subsidies on fuel and maize, as many call it now. As such, it is true that the word subsidy has been more pronounced now than ever before. Even as the debate calms down, many still do not understand what a subsidy is.
When a government pays for part of the cost, which means, say, for example, if you've got a product and the product in the marketplace costs, say, 10 kwacha, if the government decides to pay 2 kwacha so that the final consumer pays 8 kwacha, that 2 kwacha is a subsidy. Now, what the subsidy is doing is to make it possible for the consumer of that commodity to pay less. So in a way, the government is helping whoever consumes that product to pay less.
Subsidy is something that is not supposed to be long-term. It has a specific objective, and the objective is to help people transition in times of crisis, so that once they stabilize, once they're able to stand on their own 2 feet, then actually that subsidy can be withdrawn and be better directed.
Zambians had for some time enjoyed consuming subsidized fuel, possibly without even knowing it. This was at a huge cost. For instance, in the first 4 months of 2013, government spent over 1.1 billion kwacha on subsidizing fuel alone.
If you take where I was in 2005 in Indonesia, fuel subsidy removed, the country saved close to $10 billion. $5 billion of the saved money went to cash transfer program to the poor.
The government has had 2 types of subsidies in the agriculture sector. These are the consumption and production subsidies, which have been taking up most of the funds from allocations to the agriculture sector in the national budgets. The idea behind the production subsidy, carried out under the Farmer Input Support Program, is to support vulnerable but viable farmers to produce more for their families and also sell the surplus. Production increased, but the wrong people continue to benefit.
It was completely abused, I would say that. Statistics also show that just from purchase of maize, 50% of the maize production was being produced by people who owned 5 hectares to about 20 hectares. Clearly, those are not peasant farmers, and those are the people who are benefiting from the FISI program. So there's a lot that needs to be done.
Subsidies in the agriculture sector are not peculiar to Zambia alone. The European Union spends half its gross domestic product on agriculture subsidies. This is too much. And so, in an effort to find out why the European Union is supporting the Zambian government's move to do away with the subsidies, I talked to the EU head of delegation to Zambia, Kils Hevio. I asked him what the difference between the agriculture subsidies in the European Union and in Zambia is.
This long story brings to some good news, but also some worrying situation in the past. I have to say that the amount of money which is provided for subsidies in Europe is maximum 0.5% of the GDP. So it's big, but it's not as big as the subsidies we have seen in Zambia. So we continue to maintain, but this amount of agricultural subsidies decrease. It's not linked to the production, it's linked now to the farmers and to the capacity to the farmer to take care of the lands, of the environment, and also to use good practice in terms of productions and livestock.
And now the debate continues, with the public questioning how the savings from the subsidies should be used. For the World Bank, the benefits of removing the subsidies will only be seen once the government diversifies our economic activities.
We also know that there are enormous potentials here. So how do we try to bring about better feeder roads? So if I am a poor farmer, I can take my crop to the town close by and get better prices. If I can vaccinate and also have dip tanks for my livestock and poultry, I would be able to have much better quality of livestock that would improve my living. If I have small irrigation, I can go into commercial cropping. So I think there is an opportunity here that the savings, if it is directed to all sorts of other crops that we are currently not paying much attention to.
We have to take stock of the money that will be realized from this exercise. Take a prudent stock and then also come up with a tangible plan as to how this money is going to be spent. Minus that, it's going to be an exercise in futility.
For the PF government, removing the subsidies was not by accident. It is clear in their party manifesto. I talked to the PF chairman for finance, Emmanuel Chenda, on whether they have a roadmap on how to use the money saved from the removal of subsidies.
Clearly, we have plans to construct roads, we have plans to construct additional schools, we have plans to construct universities. Where do you think this money is going to come from? These plans are there. We always saying, where are we going to find the money to fulfill these aspirations? So we have a plan. We have a plan, and we are simply identifying resources within our domestic budget, which we are going to use to fulfill these programs. So clearly, yes, there's a plan.
It is indeed a wait-and-see situation. The PF government is confident that come next year, the savings from fuel and maize subsidies will be used to develop other sectors. Ruth Kamwi, TV2 News in Lusaka.